I wanted to jump on here and talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, the apparently the field office in Phoenix, Arizona of the FBI issued allegedly some sort of PDF that was on. There was an article on Yahoo about it, and it basically, talks about vilifying QAnon followers specifically, and you know, um, just basically saying that they're extremists and domestic terrorists and all those sorts of implications. So last night I put in a FOIA request to the FBI, asking them who was the source of the document, who worked on putting the document together, what sort of research was used, all that information, any documentation regarding that. So I'm going to wait and see what they come back at me with, and see what the source of that is, because especially suspicious out of Phoenix, Arizona. It wouldn't at all surprise me if there are corrupted agents who are involved in child trafficking, Luciferian activities in Phoenix, Arizona. And, that's not so far-fetched, as we saw that in the Franklin Federal case. If you ever watched the documentary Conspiracy of Silence, the FBI office out of Omaha, Nebraska, not only did they run cover for Lawrence King and a lot of other pedophiles in that case, but they make it even worse. There was a young woman named Alicia Owens. She was like 18 at the time, and she was coming forward with the truth about how they were abusing these kids, doing all sorts of nasty stuff, recruiting kids, or really basically kidnapping them out of Boys Town, which is a large Catholic, what do you call it? A home for boys, and in Omaha, Nebraska. So anyway, Alicia Owens was coming forward with the truth, and not only did the FBI run the cover for the pedophiles and Lawrence King and all sorts of big Republican names in Omaha, Nebraska, but they threatened Alicia Owens of convicting her for perjury, and but she, being the brave soul she is, pushed forward with the truth, testified in court as to what she knew, and sure enough, the FBI got her prosecuted, and she was, at the time, I don't know if this still stands, but at the time, she was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and that was the at the time, longest sentence ever handed down for somebody convicted of perjury, all because she came forward against these vile pedophiles in Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm going to get to the bottom of who issued this PDF from the FBI, and because I would strongly suspect that they have some nefarious dealings, and we all know that Arizona is a huge human child trafficking corridor in the United States. So we're going to get to the bottom of all that. Anyhow, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I think Kamala Harris is now calling Tulsi Gabbard, after Tulsi Gabbard hammered her in their debate, and basically called her out for really her unethical and immoral behavior as a prosecutor. Apparently, she suppressed evidence. When she knew that innocent men were in prison, that sort of thing. Put a lot of people in prison for marijuana too. So anyway, Kamala Harris now coming out and accusing Tulsi Gabbard of being a traitor. So it's funny. I guess their mentality is, oh hey, it worked against Trump, so let's jump on each other with that. So it's kind of fun to see now that the Democratic race for the nomination, and we'll see it, I think, get really nasty between these people, because they're all, entrenched and power hungry, and they're willing to eat their own when it comes to gaining more power. But anyways, good luck with that. I think Trump's going to be a bigger landslide in 2020 than he was in 2016, and that's really because of the black vote. You know, my understanding is Trump is enjoying like 30+% support among black voters. He just came out last night with a brilliant political move, that basically says, hey, I am asking the Democrats, real simple deal here, where we secure the border and all the money and probably deport a whole lot of illegal immigrants, and all the money that we spend on them as a society, which is, you know, some estimate well over $100 billion a year, and I don't find that at all hard to believe, that we will be spending that now on inner cities. Well, how are the Democrats going to say no to that? So that's a checkmate move, in my opinion, and he probably, with that, and if he pushes this hard, probably gained 5% or so more support within the urban communities in America. So that's just going to crush the Democrats. It already is. I mean, Candace Owens and the Blexit movement are showing black Americans that, they can step off the plantation, and seeing the reaction from leftists for black folks who dare to support Trump. I mean, it's just visceral towards these folks, as if, they don't, because they're black, they don't have the right to choose their, political affiliations, as if they are owned by the Democrats. And that's not at all surprising, because remember, this is the party that founded the KKK. This is the party that really has a vile racist history. This is the party who, not even 10 years ago, Senator Robert Byrd, a former Grand Master in the Ku Klux Klan, and Hillary Clinton's admitted mentor, who she loved, he's a Grand Master in the KKK, okay? And this guy was a Democratic leader, had all sorts of leadership roles in the Senate. He was their most senior senator for a long time. So, this party spews crap out of one side of their mouth, but then you see them in practice, and they really are as racist as they come. Especially the way in which they think they own the black vote. It's really disgusting, and I think black America's sick of that, and they're gonna show them who owns their vote when they come out in 2020 and vote for who they want to. And then California now, that Governor Newsom out there got the legislation passed where it requires all presidential candidates to disclose their tax returns. Well, first of all, Trump doesn't need California to win another landslide victory. I don't think he spent any time campaigning there last time, because it's such a left-wing bastion in that state that it's a waste of time for him to do that. And people are like, oh, well, Trump didn't win the popular vote. Well, he didn't campaign to win the popular vote, because that's not how the system is set up. He campaigned to win the Electoral College, which he did extremely well at, and really a brilliant, efficient politician. So if he wanted to win the popular vote, I bet he could do so by spending some time in New York and California. But he doesn't care about that. He cares about getting reelected, and that's what I want him to focus on as well, is getting reelected, which, again, I think is a sure thing. And by the way, if you want to make some money on this, go to predictit.org, which is kind of a stock market political gambling website. And I think last time I looked, I bought shares for Trump being reelected for 42 cents, and they're now at 47, which basically means if you buy those shares for 42 cents, somebody else was betting 58 cents that he wouldn't be elected, and the winner takes the full dollar out of that. So, if you put in 42 cents and Trump does get reelected, you're going to get, over 100% rate of return on your money, which I think is a good bet. Another interesting bet on predictit.org is you can put your money on Hillary Clinton being officially charged with a crime by December. I think it might be a felony, but you got to read the terms of the market. But by December 31st, you can get those shares for 11-12 cents a share. And so that means if she is charged by December 31st, 2019, you're looking at, 800% rate of return on that, which I've got a little bit of change invested in that, because I think that's a really good bet. Again, that's predictit.org. They do, just so you know, they don't charge anything on the front end to deposit funds and buy shares, but they will charge you on the back end 5%. So if you lose the money, it at least didn't cost you any commission. What else do we have going on? Oh, geez. Something else I wanted to talk about. I can't recall. Anyways, I'm going to get to work now, but I did want to especially talk about that FBI PDF that was in Yahoo News, where they're trying to paint QAnon followers as terrorists, which is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. And another example why the FBI needs to be dissolved, along with the CIA. They are, and I'm not saying there's not some good people in the FBI and the CIA. I know good people in both of them, and but the fact of the matter is they've been heavily infiltrated by Luciferians, and it's just best to start over. If you were in the FBI or the CIA and you'd like to reapply to the new agencies that would be established to take over the duties that those old agencies formerly had, then you're welcome to do so. But you're going to be scrutinized closely, because the institutional corruption in both of those agencies is just unacceptable to the American people anymore. Oh yeah, I also want to talk about Comey. I was a little irritated yesterday hearing that Comey wouldn't be held accountable by DOJ for leaking information in the Fusion GPS phony Russian collusion case. But I'm reminded by others that, hey, and I've seen kind of other talking heads and stuff say, you know what, Comey's got a lot bigger problems than that, and I think the DOJ just decided to forego any charges on that because they have a lot of better stuff for him. Anyway, I'm going to jump off here and get my butt to work. I love y'all. Keep up the good work, and we are definitely winning. Oh, I know the other thing I got to talk about is in case you didn't see this, the NYFD, the fire department commissioners, voted and approved. I guess they have one commissioner, the head commissioner, I forgot his name, but I looked him up and verified that this is the case. And then they have in the various districts commissioners, and they voted unanimously to open a real investigation of what happened on 9/11, because there's overwhelming evidence that explosives brought down those buildings. So that's pretty official when the New York Fire Department is coming out and calling for that. You got to think also they've got experts along those lines, or they should, or have consulted with them. So I think that holds a lot of weight, and we're going to get to the truth behind what really happened on 9/11, which is not what we've been told. The Mockingbird media lied. I think there's some domestic components to this, people involved that need to hang, and I also think that there's some, just like with the Russian collusion case, there was at least one foreign intelligence agency involved in 9/11, probably two. And when that is found out, when we find out that any government was involved in murdering over 3,000 of our citizens on 9/11, then I am not a warmonger. I'm against war, but at the same time, I think we need to declare war and clean house in those countries and make sure that shit does not ever happen again. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm gonna run, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.